Hey y'all, we're live. So, before we begin, real quick on the chat or in the polls, like either answer the poll or like quick emoji, happy face, sad face, or meh. Like, how are you guys doing? I know we're in like unprecedented times, but we're just gonna keep marching forward. So that's how we that's how I'm gonna greet you guys. So let me look at the polls real quick. I see eight meh. So yeah, that's totally me. Honestly, it's me too. And one awesome. So all right. Sounds good. Welcome to Fileable. So we're doing a live stream. We're gonna do some practice on multiple choice and following the AP World Curriculum. So Unit 7 is Tanya's like, well, yeah. Oh well. Unit 7 is on global conflicts. So it's the World War One, interwar years, World War Two primarily, and including like mass atrocities like the Holocaust and the Armenian genocide, something along the lines of that. And Unit 8 is on decolonization and the Cold War flip flop. So we have the Cold War and decolonization. So it's like India, China, even, or Africa. So we're gonna look at these things as we go through this. Quick plug: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We all have that. Think Fileable. Also, we also have we're being repped by one of our interns in TikTok too. So we're considering a TikTok account. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Today's Wednesday, if I'm right. I don't have perception time. So today's Wednesday, and today's STEM day for Fileable. So if you have physics or environmental science or let's see, physics, environmental science. We have streams on those. I highlighted them over there on Wednesday. Tomorrow is AP World Day, so you're gonna see me again tomorrow on decolonization. So some of the questions here are on decolonization. So this is just like a diagnostic for you to figure out where are you on the scale, on the spectrum of like you like if you know that you know the content or like I need to work on this. So tomorrow's decolonization. We also have a trivia quiz thingy where you can like, and it's like a hoot but with different. So we also have that a push and more AP roads AP Euro stuff. If you have that as your class too, or next year if you're curious. There we go. So our outline today is I'm just gonna do the one in black. We're gonna do a quick refresher and stimulus based multiple choice questions because it's been like a long weekend. So just do a refresher in that. I mean general tips on how to prepare. We're gonna go through these real quick, and then we're gonna have practice, lots of practice. So I'm more of like a guide figure here. I'm not gonna like talk all the time, so don't worry about me talking all the time. It's gonna be about you guys answering on the chat, answering on the comments, and that's pretty much a stream because it's all about multiple choice practice. So 4 steps in tackling stimulus-based multiple choice questions, or just call them SBMCs. You don't have to do them all in order, but it's how I recommend doing it. So look at the type of question. So when you're presented with a document, there usually comes in sets of 3s or 4s. So depends on. I would usually do this in long documents because I'm not a fast reader. So I would look down, like identify what it's at. Actually, before that, you want to identify the document, the type of the document. So is it an image? Is it a primary source or secondary source? It's like some narration by a historian, some narration by someone who's actually in the event. Or is it a data chart? Is it like a graph? Is it a plot? Is it a map? So I want to look at that first. And then look at the questions. What are they asking? So don't look at every word of the question. Let's see, identify document in question. Yeah, I'm just saying it for formality's sake, but I'm pretty sure we've all been doing it because the moment you flip the page and you see like, oh, it's an image, boo, or oh, it's a document. So it just keeps you in track. It just gets you, I don't know, like 5 seconds of mental preparation to like, oh, guess I'm reading, I'm on it. And it depends on you. So you can have a strategy. You can have a different strategy on text documents. You can probably read the questions first, or if it's an image, you can just look at it all the time. You look at it first, and then so it depends per person. So, but yeah, document identify what type of document it is, and then look at the questions, and then once again, this is only for screening. Like I call it screening. Don't rush it, or sorry, did I answer your question? Just making sure in the chat, Tanya and Deku. Okay, thanks. Look at the question. Don't rush. I'm not saying like look at every word of the question. Like, what does the document say? Just look at the keywords, like cause or continuity, or the document says this. So at least when you look back at the document, you have an idea of what to look for instead of just like randomly looking at observations. You know, you gotta keep track of what you need to find. It's like a puzzle, actually. So also watch out for words like except or not, because I know I got thrown out by this last year too when I took tests. I in practice tests. So I didn't read the question. I just like sped run it. I just like rushed through it. So I realized like I got like a couple wrong when we did corrections. When I didn't realize, oh, it said except. Guess I was listening or reading properly. So there's that. Now, I prefer this for images, find details, observations. For text documents, I would just keep track of what the main idea is. But for image documents, just look at like observations. So look at if there's people, look at what they're wearing. Look at the language, look at the caption. Let's say the caption in German. So you have an idea that the document is someone written by or created by a German dude or someone who's affiliated with Germany, basically. Look for, let's say it's a graph. You see, like, those like bar graphs where there's like, let's say there's like a sudden spike. What does that mean? Look for trends. If it's a map, look for what is it? Because it's not always a global map. It's gonna highlight like one region. Maybe it's about Asia or South Asia itself or Africa itself. Well, you got to figure out. At least you can narrow down where what you're looking at. And because if it's a map of Africa, then you'd have to think about Europe or North America because it's not talking about that. It's just about Africa. So you want to narrow down your scope. The point here is making things easier for you, easier, because once again, we are at a time crunch here, and yeah, for documents, just look at who's writing it. Usually, it's on the top, on the caption, and look at the point of view and the message. So you can get those while you're reading it. So like in the letter, you're probably thinking he's pleading for something. He's asking for either peace settlement or some demand. So there's that. And answer, of course. So once again, don't leave any question blank. But if you have the time, especially when you're starting the test, when you're confident, go with your gut feeling. Pick that answer because most answers you get wrong. I mean, for me, and even in other classes, it's because like I got the right answer the first time, but I got them wrong when they changed them. So follow your gut. You know this. You're confident. You know the content. That's why you're here. But if you're stuck between two choices, don't spend 5 minutes just looking between like, which one is it? Which one is it? Because both sound right, and that means that whoever made the test, is doing your job and tricking you. So just mark out, just eliminate, just cross out the two wrong, definitely wrong answers. Circle the question number. Just come back later. And just move on, and you can just follow the gut feeling thing. So there's that. Identify, look at the question, details, and answer. Now, how can you prepare? Because you can't just march in like I didn't do anything to the test. It's just like why? So do your reading. It's mostly reading. Get your brain like ready to read documents. Usually your textbook has a lot of documents for you to read on to analyze. You didn't have to do an analysis. I didn't do the analysis, but at least practice like gearing up your brain on reading because it's just reading. It's inevitable. Like I'm inevitable. Okay, find big ideas. So if you're quite familiar with the big ideas, it's either It's either like the skills, so like causation, yeah, causation, continuity and change over time, and comparison, or it's either the main ideas like politics or social structures in society, like the social hierarchy, or environmental ideas, so like pandemics or the Black Death, something like that, or culture or technology. You want to keep those in mind. So once again, narrowing it down, so the more you recognize these stuff, so like you'd see like in the question, what is the what broad trend, what development does this, you guys see them later? What development will you does this excerpt suggest? So development, it's like a clue word that means like change, like what new thing happened in this era. So we're gonna see them later. So want to make connections back to what you know in history. And annotated notes. So if you have key concepts, if your teacher gives like key concepts and has you annotate them, our teacher does. Well, there's no examples. Like soon we're gonna have like study guides too for Fireballs, so we got that for you. Notes, notes, and notes, and just keep annotating online. Just keep like reading and reading. You know, just get familiarize yourself with the content. So, final questions, comments, clarifications before we move on to the practice. All right. All right. So moving on. So we have the first few batch of questions here will be on global conflicts. So watch out for World War One, the interwar period, so like the Great Depression, World War Two, and even mass atrocities. So those are just like the key events, just a broad like events that happened in this era in this unit. So there we go. First set, we have a photo. So in either you want to anyways, I'll read the caption first. So it's a photo of the city of Dresden, Germany, after being firebombed. 80% of the city was destroyed in the bombing raid 1944. Also, shout out to all these sources are made by an AP World teacher who's a streamer here too, Mr. Liddy, Evan Liddy. So shout out to him. So thank you. Anyways, going back, so you probably won't have time. Um, I mean, you probably will, or you will, or you don't have time in the actual test. But I would recommend annotating the caption first. Like, what does it say? Where is it? So I'm just giving hints. Like, where is it? When did it happen? What happened? So I'll just do this real quick. So it says, so I underline for me, I underline Germany, I underline firebomb, underline 1944. So real quick, like just like one or two observations in the chat. What do you see in the image? Like just this, no one, there's no wrong answer here. What do you see? Yeah, yeah. For me, I see yeah, black and white. I see destruction, you know, like I see like this is like an entire city being yes, burned down buildings, thanks. And it's Patricia buildings destroyed from me. Yes, you're on this y'all on the ballpark here. So yes, like Dresden is wrecked here. So that's like the clue word. Like just look at what's happening here. What could have happened here? So that war, right? So we're getting there. We're narrowing it down. So that's already good before we move on to the questions. So keep that in mind as we answer this. I'll keep the photo flash. So here's the first question. So in the chat, what's your answer? What does the image portray? I mean, the event in the image demonstrate. City being destroyed. So in the chat, question one, type your answers. Also, will the caption be there in the test? Um, Yeah, but I think it'll, if I remember correctly, it'll just be like the citation, I think. Like, I think it'll be there, but it won't be as detailed as this. So, um, yeah. So once again, with either B or D, B, D, ooh, or split. Yeah. Okay. B, C, B. Okay. So, let's see. Let's have more answers. Yeah, yeah. When I wrote these questions yesterday, like midnight, yeah, I think I could see So first of all, my original my original answer was D, but I can see why it's B technically, because if you fire bomb civilians, that counts as an atrocity. Um, but I can see, yeah, that's true. Belligerent nations of war. So I would accept B too, but don't worry. Like the next few questions will be have like better answers. But my thinking behind D was that like bombing civilians was like a new strategy. They didn't bomb civilians back then. Like in World War One, they would just like do it in like trench warfare or like they just like bomb like fellow soldiers. But World War Two, so if you look at the date, it's 1944. It's during World War Two. This is the first time like Nazi Germany or the Axis powers were just bombing civilians. Like just it's just a strategy. Like they need to surrender. You know, and it's not C because Dresden was in nuked. So the key word for nuclear war, if you look at the caption, it would be either Hiroshima or Nagasaki, and this is Dresden, Germany, so it's unrelated. But still, good guess. At least it didn't say A. That's like the obvious wrong answer. So yeah, B or D works. Good job. Thanks, everyone. Question 2. So once again, look at the keywords. Most directly cost. So it's a skill. Like what caused this destruction? So in the comments, A, B, C, D. So let's see. So think more technically. Think more technically. Like don't think of anything else. What you see in the picture. Just like what caused that destruction. That's the clue. Like what caused that destruction? Don't think of the people doing it. Think of like just the destruction itself. Why did that happen? So I see A, B. Ooh, everyone's split. Ooh, I like this. Ow. Yeah. Social there. Okay. So I see A, B, C, D. So let's see. Last call. So I would eliminate like process elimination first. So it's not D because mutually assured destruction. If you haven't learned it yet, it's not something along the Cold War where the U.S. and Soviet Union were like, oh, well, we're gonna if you dare, no, the U.S. was like, oh, if you dare Soviet Union, if you dare nuke us, we're gonna nuke you back. So it's not D. Now, C is um this is what I was saying about like broad trends. Think of like the themes like the social, political, cultural, because social Darwinism is like a social thing where or people were looking down on other races, so like we're superior. But if you think about it, war counts as politics in the sense that it's like imperialism, or it's just total warfare. So social Darwinism won't be the answer because it's not the theme being highlighted here. And you can't see racial superiority here. If it was a political cartoon, like showing like let's see the Germans are like all high and mighty, and everyone else in Austria and Poland are like monkeys, then that's social Darwinism. And that in this case, you only see an image of war and destruction. So it's not C or D. B, economic fallout's motivated by overproduction. That's a Great Depression. Is that this was the Great Depression, I would think of like a document that's like probably people like with their heads like this, like they're just like dead inside, um, like because of the Great Depression. So yes, it is A. So I'm just walking you guys through the thinking process. So A, industrialization. Think about it. Industrial Revolution caused like this influx of new weapons. We see the nuclear, we see the mustard gas, we see flamethrowers, we see fire planes, we see a lot of these things. And within Western powers like Western Europe and the US, which makes sense, you're bombing Germany. So who industrialized here? So it's like a big word, but basically means like production of new new stuff, more stuff. So so the key word is like the weapons, and so it's industrialization. So good job. All right, last question for this set. What's the continuity being portrayed here? Um, yep, is it architecture, environmental causes, destruction, civilian casualties, or class conflicts? There we go. I see a consensus here. That's right. So don't get thrown up by the key. The one thrower off there is B because it said environmental causes. No, it's not because of the plague that happened. It happened because of civilian It's like infrastructure loss. So you can see it in the image. So good job. Next document. So it's an interview with Wen Shi, early 2000s. So I'll give you a couple minutes or like a minute to read that the document. But yeah, so you should grab clues on where this is happening based on like once you read the document. And then just say like I'm ready or like thumbs up in the chat if you're once you're ready to go to the questions. So you can see that she's in some place. We'll look at the hint word there. Look at the place. Um, she's trying to escape from another group of people, but she unfortunately she their families and their groups are being gunned down. Violence. We see violence. We see graphic. It's actually pretty graphic. So yeah, it is really sad. So I was originally hesitant to show this, but I get well. That's why history is important, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes in the past. Yeah. So that's an easy. Oh no, yeah, Yang Kang's onto it. So it is an easy question. So after reading it, what's the event? It's like a giveaway at this point. Yeah. So yep, Rape of Nanjing. Yeah, this just a quick story, not story time, like quick recap. So, Rape Manching is like it's actually during like interwar years where Japan is being like imperialist and all. So they invade Manchuria, which is in China, and then just like brutally murder, pillage villages, murder people, all those violent stuff. So that's how Japan rose as like an imperialist like power in the East or Eastern Hemisphere. So good job, guys. Features all the following except. So this is where you think back on what you read. This is based entirely on what you read. Oh, sorry. No, 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 you're good, Yan Kang. I was actually expecting someone to like rape him, and was like, yes, he done it, yeah. So no, don't be sorry. You actually doing a good job. So it features all the following except. Okay, see? Excessive force, harsh treatment, tense negotiations. Yep. What's the key word there? Negotiations. So they didn't negotiate. You see what happened there. It's just pretty sad once again. So, right answer, guys. Yo, killing it. We're on a roll here. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, key word there, Patricia. Yeah. Once again, look at the question. Don't just from our parties involved. Yeah, they're not all parties involved too. Also, yeah, look at the question. If you didn't see that except, you look at A, they use excessive force to start control. So just gotta circle that. That's not the answer. So be careful. Now, the excerpt best demonstrates the next question. The excerpt best demonstrates which of the following developments. So developments change in the era. So what something new happened? What was it? So once again, completely based it on the excerpt. Don't think of anything else. Actually, you can base it on excerpt first, and then think of anything else if you're stuck. So I see bees, last call. Yep, good job. It's B. So keyword there, mass atrocities. If you once again going back to your choice earlier, the Holocaust, Armenian genocide, rape of Nanjing, what they all have in common, they're all mass atrocities or genocides that defined the 20th century. Last question in this set. What motivated, actually no, what is the significant cause behind the rape of Nanjing, pretty much? So this is based more on your historical knowledge, just to stray further. So like in SBMCs, you first start with like based on the context, and then based on the passage, and then you start looking at in the next few questions based on like what you know, history. So let's see. I see A's. Anyone else? So yeah, once again, if you have any questions, just let me know along the way. You know, if you're confused like specific terms. So let's say militarism is like building up weapons, building up your military. So that's not it. Um, yes, the answer is A, but I can see the reasoning behind D. That's good. I can see that's animosity is like hatred basically. But yeah, that's a valid answer. Ethnic superiority was the giveaway. Yeah, valid answer is intense animosity, but it's not because China hated Japan. No, no, no. Japan hated China enough for them to invade. They were just being like, let's invade everyone. We need to expand their powers. It's not because they just hate them. Like it's not they're not being spiteful. So, but I get the reasoning for that though. That's the if you're stuck between two answers, that's the second one. So, but good job, everyone. Y'all got to A. So, xenophobia is like fear against foreigners, like you're being against foreigners or other groups. Ethic superiority, yeah. So, I know another long document. So, but this time, look at the caption. It's a UN Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. So, post World War II. So, I want to recommend. Let's see. You can start reading with the articles, like Article 1, all human beings are born free. But if you want, read the preamble to like the first few lines, and then tell me when you're ready. Yep. Also, Tanya brought up a good point. For now, like I'm asking you guys to like read it, like read. Don't read it, but just skim what's happening and just skim over what's happening and make it is very clear. So, based on the context of the excerpt, it outlines all of the following except but A, B, C, or D. And if you notice, like the options are like roundabout terms. Like if they say like economic fallouts caused by um destruction and war, overproduction. I mean that's just a Great Depression. Like College Board just likes to play around with words. So cross elimination too, yeah. So freedom of equality. They already said that. Opposition to coerced labor. That's anti-slavery. They said that. Human rights. They did show that. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So college will often wants to throw you off with these big words. So if you secularism, secularism is more of like the church and the state is separate. So think of like the U.S. We're a secular state. But think of like Iran. Like religion is deeply integrated with the government. So you can see like usually whoever's the head of the state is probably the head of the church too, or something along the lines of that. They're like closely that's like yeah. I'll come back to that. But let's have a think about religion. So that's a key point if you caught that. Also secularism is like yeah, think of America. You know how like we were like everyone can practice their own religion, you know. So we're not a theocratic state like ancient times, you know, where um let's say in I think in Western in Europe, so like Christianity played a huge role in government. We're not that. So we're secular. Anyway, so Yang Kang said that there's not anything. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for summarizing. I was like, how am I supposed to say it? Yes, thank you. Um, once again, there's anything about religion in the document. So once again, broad trends. I mean, look at the what they're saying. They don't say it. So the answer is, by the way, C. So, yeah, but good guess. Good answers, everyone. Yeah, don't worry, Tanya. Once again, this is not about like you're right or wrong. This is about like what do you want to work on? Do you need to look at trends? Do you need to look at how you answer stuff? Do you look at how just to tackle the question? But yeah, once again, don't look and find the ones like if it's accept or find the one that's like irrelevant to the question. All right. Now this is more of your historical knowledge. What is the UN most similar to? I look between the answers. I know what you should do. Hey, you know what we work on. League of Nations, yes. Last call. I think I just gave it away, but yes, it is the League of Nations. So if you remember, or like a quick recap, so World War One, after World War One, everyone's like done with war and violence. They're like, this is messed up. So they establish a League of Nations, but it doesn't have the authority to enforce like order on the other states. So when Japan, once again, with the rape of Nanjing, when Japan was expanding, the League of Nations was like, you just better stop. You better stop. But Japan was like, can't stop us. You can't make us. So they were like helpless. They were just like bark but no bite. So they couldn't do anything. So the UN is meant to be like it's like how they revise it's like a revision, but it's like a new version two. Like let's try again. And let's try again. So let's say the Cold War and the Korean War, they actually intervene. They're like the peacekeeping I think soldiers. They actually intervene on the South Korean side. So you can see now they have more powers and they have more like yeah, they can do more things than before. So yeah, good job. It's B. So by the way, Greater East Asia Prosperity Sphere is also the same word for like the entire Japanese like territories before World War II. All right. Once again, knowledge of history. What's the so the excerpt shown is meant to. So it's meant to means that what's its purpose? So it's one of those things to do in DBQ. You would look at the purpose of the document. So answering on the comments. David have a UN army that stops. Yeah, see, we're getting better there now. Unfortunately though, like most governments today are just they like turn a blind eye on like genocides because diplomacy, like the ethnic violence in I think it's in Myanmar or Burma. No one's doing anything over there. It's just because they don't want to like other nations don't want to um upset or like severe ties with other nations of local nations. So question 10. Um yeah, I gave a hint. I was talking about this earlier, so I gave a hint. So it's kind of a hint. So what's the main purpose of the UN Declaration of I forgot which declaration. Declaration. It's the UN Declaration. So okay, so it's under one of those. I think, yeah. No, I was doing this like 2 a.m. So I'm so sorry, but my answer was B. But I can say it's I can yeah. I think it's yeah. I'm like ooh, it's A too. But my mind my thinking here in B was okay. Sorry, my thinking here in B is that basically they're reinforcing the League of Nations. They're gonna begin more bite in enforcing order and peace internationally, but I can see why you're saying establish new guidelines and ruling globally because it's saying like, no slavery. There's no let's see. no like inhumane like war crimes, no war. I mean, not no war, but like you do war right, like because there's like crimes against humanity, but I can see the thinking behind this, so I'll accept A too. So good job. Yeah, I'll accept A, but yeah. All right, so we're moving to Unit 8. So this is more about the Cold War and decolonization. So this is like, hey, there's less violent. Not really. Um, you do war right, bro. Yeah. Um, yeah, because I think there's like a war crime. Like if you I know there's a war crime. If you surrender, let's say you raise a white flag, and and then you just duke them out. You're actually not surrendering. You just there to throw them off. Oh, okay. How about this is not really spoiler. Once again, this is more to like check your understanding. Yeah, you can stay. So let's see. I challenge you. Like, let's see how you do like without the knowledge yet. Like just like whatever you know so far. So it's like a challenge for you. So yeah. Anyways, I think there's like a rule. If you like surrender, you raise your white flag, and you realize like it's just a trap. That's a war crime. So don't do that, kid. Don't do that. Okay, so real quick summary of the World Cold War. This is post World War II. Um, Europe's bankrupt. They're done. Germany's bombed. Europe, Great Britain is just done. France was just liberated from the Nazi Germany. So it's rising powers here are the U.S. and the Soviet Union, but they have disagreements because the U.S. is a capitalist. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Why? Let's just see how you guys are gonna do. So, U.S. is a capitalist democracy. Russia is a communist dictatorship. You know, Mr. Stalin, and we have Mr. I think it was FDR during this time. Yeah. Um. So yeah. So once again, the good thing about SBMCs is that you don't have to know. Hey, we'll see. You don't have to know about I mean, you had to kind of, but for like 50% of the test, I mean, not 50%, but like half of the sets of multiple choice questions, you don't have to know the exact, like every event. You can just base it on the documents. You can just wing your way in, but you probably get like a 2 or 3 if you try. If you just don't study, but I would recommend that. Yeah, they're stalking each other. Ooh, I love that 2020. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a map but it says the alignment of forces in the global arena world map. So it's like a world map. So you can see there's blue and red. You see sides here. You see factions. That is in Russian. Okay, so just based on what you see, it's most likely constructed by someone from like who made the map. See, Metab. I'm not pronouncing. I think Metab. Yeah. See, you know, that's the giveaway. So it's the Soviet Union. You look at that Russian, crisp Russian text over there. So, yeah. Dang, I like you guys. Now, you might not. So here, especially if you don't have any knowledge of the Cold War, or, like little knowledge, just look at what do you see in the map? Like, don't think of Uh, let's see. Yeah, let's just give it a try. Do you see nuclear weapons in the map? Do you see new nations in the map? Do you see geopolitical divisions in the map? Do you see exponential growth of populations in the map? Like, what do you see? Just look at the document. I see B or C. C, a trend. B. So once again, look at the map. Okay, so the answer is actually C. But um let's see. It won't be nationalism just because you don't see like usually when you see oh man, I have a world map in front of me, but usually when you see new nations, you would see like divisions, like partition. You can see like you can clear it's clearly defined. Like how we see a world map today. You can see Africa has like 50 plus nations. I think there is, yeah. But what stands out? And it's C, because you can see geopolitical divisions is basically like divisions based on like political ideologies. So you can see once again the blues are like the democratic countries and the red is like the communist countries. So you see that Russia is divided from the world. I mean, not divided. It's like separate. It seems like they're in different sides. So it's division, and there's conflicting interests. Keyword: politics, economics. Once again, Cold War, capitalist democracy, communist dictatorship. They don't agree. They fight. Let's see. NATO was NATO. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then there's CEATO in the bottom. It's like the Southeast Asian version. Yeah. See, man, I should learn. I think what's it called? Cyrillic, yeah, like Russian. Okay, so, NATO. Okay, so the Cold War marked the rise of which of the following? This actually yeah, this is more of this is a straightforward question, so just don't get thrown off by the big words. So you got this. So is it Western idolatry and global approval? Is it fascist governments and anarchism? Is it terrorism and extremism, or condonement of communism as an economic model? Also, just got this, but you can now download replays in Fiveable. So on top of our replays being free, you can download them. So if you have like if your internet connection sucks. Nah, I mean, once again, it's about like just evaluating where you're at. We're all at different places. So you got this. Okay, so A or D. Actually, wait. Trying to remember my answer. Okay, yeah, I got it. I was like, what was the answer here? Okay. Yeah, the answer is D, but whoever guessed everything else, that's good. Still good. At least you didn't say B, because B is like think of Italy or fascism. It's like state controls some business, which is different from communism, where state but public controls the means of production. But the point is, nope, fascism is out of the box, out of the choices. So terrorism, that's more like think of 9/11 and like today, like ISIS. That's more today. It's more of a today thing. It's not a Cold War thing. Western idolatry and global approval. Global approval would work, but idolatry means like everyone's worshiping it. It's like a religious. It has a more religious connotation meaning. So I just added throw you off. Condonement means like you accept communism. So if you remember Cold War, um, let's see where should it start. So condonement of communism is an economic model. So you can see the rise of communism, right? So if you oh yeah, I forgot. So basically, anyways, between West, there would eventually they build the Berlin Wall it's like a symbol that divides Western Europe and Eastern Europe, because Eastern Europe eventually falls under communism. So technically, yeah, they were forced to accept it, but it's more of a what do you call this? It's more of like it's still acceptance because they're still forced to accept it. Terrorism developed rapidly in the later half of 20th century. So 20th century, that's been the 1900s. So it doesn't. Yes, it does develop, but it's not really a primary issue, like global issue by then, because Al Qaeda. I mean, what we know today, like Al Qaeda or the Taliban, or I think I'm just making generalizations here, but they don't really like we don't see them in like the media. They're not really the focus of everyone's attention until the early 2000s, or yes, like 1990s. But that's the end of the Cold War. So if you look at the question, the Cold War marked the rise. So actually, you can argue that actually, like, but that's like a more of a sub cause, like an effect, like a secondary effect. It's not a primary effect or of the Cold War, like terrorism. But I see where you're getting at. Yeah, yeah. North Korea. Wait, North K. You mean like North Korea? Just making sure. North Korea is more of a nation. It's if you're gonna talk more about it in the Korean War, but it's more of a isolationist country. It's not a terrorist group per se or a terrorist nation. It's more like it just wants to mind its own business, I guess. Because to be fair, Western the US and like Westerners, yeah, the Westerners are like meddling in everyone's affairs. They meddled in Egypt because they wanted like a canal, controlling a canal. It has turned the country. Um it's used as a how to control others, like to repress others, but it's not like what you think today. I was implying here like terrorism, like bombing buildings or yeah, the Hermit Kingdom, yeah, French OAS. Ooh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get back to you later or once I email you guys the slides. I'll get back. I'll do some research on that. That's a good point. But yeah, Hermit Kingdom, yes. I haven't heard that term for like years. I mean, not years, but like a while. Like no one, everyone just calls it either DPRK or North Korea. Yeah. Okay. Each day you learn new things. So thank you. I should know. Yeah, I'll keep it in mind. So yeah. So next question. This is more of so once again, tell me once you're ready. But it's a speech of the at the presidential palace, delivered upon the capture of Havana by Fidel Castro. You'll see his name a lot later in Unit 8 if you're not there yet. And presidential palace, if you don't know who Fidel Castro is, that's a good clue on who he is. Cuban Missile Crisis before that. So I'll have your I'll tell you the I'll tell you once, at least like when you guys are ready to answer the questions. So yeah, read or skim the good details. But yeah, it's not exactly about the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's something before that happened. So tell me when you're ready. Okay, Tanya's ready. Anyone else? Okay, yes, Cuba pops up on the news sometime. Fortunately, yeah. I mean, world history cover a lot of topics, so grounds. So we're ready. So it's actually about how it's about the I can't tell you yet because it's one of the answers here. So it's best understood in context. Basically, it's kind of a trend thing. Like, what trend does this symbolize? Like, Fidel Castro is like, we're small. It's like he's like saying we're strong, dependent people. You know, we don't need anyone else. Like, we don't need foreign intervention. So yes, um, I see these. Last call. D. Okay, it's D. More industrialization, no. Imperialism means you're invading. Usually it's like expanding your empire. No, just think of like we're independent. We're different. We're not. We will never fall to those Westerners. Something like that. Militarism, no. So it is D. Nationalism, basically like imagine like you're hyping everyone up, like you're patriotic, like bring out your flag and just yeah. That's how I think of nationalism. Good job. Also, okay, this is about the This is actually about the Cuban Revolution. So, um, because before this, Cuba technically is under U.S. Like not under U.S., but it has like you learn more in I think in A push, but it's like under like U.S. has like a definite control over like its like economic politics. So eventually they're like, I'm done. So that's Cuban Revolution. So with that in mind, the speaker of this, what do you call this, document can be described as what is he? What's his POV? It's all about the point of view. All right, in the comments. Is he subversive? Is he pacifist? Is he resentful? Is he apprehensive? C or D? I see C, C. Our last call. Actually, tell me if I'm going through too fast. So, so yeah, okay. C, 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 C. You're right. It's C. He's not a pacifist. You can tell he's mad. He's not subversive. Subversive means you're submissive. Basically, you're like, oh, you know what? I'll back out. Resentful, yes. Apprehensive is like anxious towards resistance, which doesn't make sense. He's the one starting it, so it is C. So good job. Nice. Ooh, yeah, you're grabbing some specific quotes. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's actually yeah. That's how you develop a good essay in AP World. You just like you know how to quote it, you can paraphrase it, but um just like as a good example, evidence. Okay. Um Good LQ example, DB example. We might do one of these streams on like using these documents soon, so stay tuned. Let's see. Using historical knowledge of the Cold War. The Cold War, I mean, the Cuban Revolution, I might as well give it away, leads to. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Can you see it over there? Can you see it from this size, like what you're seeing right now, Sanjit? I know I pronounced it right, but full screen. Actually, I can just I should have sent the documents earlier, but let's see. We'll come back to this. I'll send you a copy of it because I'll email the slides later on. So I'll send you the document because we're almost done anyway. So you can practice with this later on. So on your own. So just make sure. So um, but yeah, basically saying that this man speaking, Fidel Castro, is against. I can't do full screens by the way. So Fidel Castro is against like foreign influence. He's saying like he doesn't want let's see. Yeah, he's more of like he's giving like a Stalin vibe, not because he's a dictator. He is a dictator. That's because he's like he purges everyone, but he's like the workers must overthrow the proletariat. Okay, I see B's. Anyone else? Cuba is in Soviet Union side. Yes, that's where you see the Cuban Missile Crisis, which y'all pointed out. And it's not overland wars in Central Latin America because the major wars during the Cold War is either the Korean War, the Vietnam War, or yeah, there's not nothing really happened in Latin America. Um, there's no dynastic cycles. It's like China. No, that's out of the question. Counter revolutions, no. Yes, intense confrontations. That's just general. That's just more intense. Yeah, DEFCON 3. Yes, Cuban Missile Crisis. Intense confrontations. That was actually what I was going for. Cuban Missile Crisis. I was just like I just played around with the words, like what College Board likes to do. So, yes, DefCon 3. Yeah, I think it's the closest. That's the word. That's the highest or lowest warning we've got. Yeah. So yeah, good job. All right. Ooh, yeah, I should link some more resources here soon. Yeah. All right. This is actually the last set. Okay, so tell me when you're ready now, Sanjit. You can read. Now we can all we're all on the same page here now. So this is Sukarno's speech given by Indonesian Prime Minister Sukarno at the Bandung Conference in Indonesia. Look at the date. I mean the year 1955. So that's after World War II. I mean World War II, Cold War era. By the way, Cold War technically doesn't stop until like the 80s or I think the 90s even. Yeah. With the fall of the Berlin Wall. And okay, ready? Let's wait for a couple other people when they're ready. Two ready people. Three. Oh, 14 was like man in the polls. Okay. Yeah, okay. So Once again, don't read everything here. You don't need to know you don't need to know like the 1.4 billion people in Asian Africa. Just skim. Just look for the main idea. All right. The excerpt is best understood in the context of time of the Vietnamese War. 1955 should be, but it's not about primarily the. It's not primarily about the Vietnamese War. Oh, yeah. So some of them are I guess recycled, but the questions are like new. I mean, I just made the questions, but yeah, once again, all of these documents are Mr. Lee's documents. So like, big shout out to him once again. Like all the slides have like a shout out for him because like man, he's the goat. Like he's the goat. Like he's the best. Okay, so a yes, decolonization. So yeah, so once again, it's like it has the same nationalist like vibe as the one the document before that on Fidel Castro, but this time Asia because Asia, remember, Scrabble of yeah man, she knows how to remember quotes. So Scrabble of Africa, remember? So Europe was like, hey, let's get Africa, let's get a lot of let's grab all of them. Um, so so technically that's colonization. So to undo that, we have to do decolonization, which we'll talk about more tomorrow. Yeah. And once again, it's all about Asian Africa. So good job. Yeah. So if you want to replay, you want to watch the replays of Mr. Liddy's stream. So yeah, File's available for you. Okay. Sentiments echoed by those featuring the excerpt ultimately lead to. So think of what happens in decolonization. It's a hint. And you can do process elimination probably. Just look at the best answer. Does control increase? I don't think so. Sure, there's reforms, but it's not cultural reforms. I mean, there are cultural reforms, but it's not about like how they view themselves. It's more about because cultural means like religion, art, architecture. That's a continuity. Yes, new independent nations. That's the concept of decolonization. You want to be independent from your previous colonizers. So let's say Vietnam from the French. Let's say India from the British. Oh yeah, good examples to use in your LDQs, DBQs, SAQs. Let's see. Let's name another one. Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty much on my head, so that's on top of my head. Oh, you can say I can argue China from Japan too. So yeah, it's D, the formation of new independent nations. Good job. Last question for the stream. The speaker is most likely to utilize which of the following in favor of decolonization? This is more of a context thing, where you read between the lines or just read the document, skim. What's he going to use? Is he going to use some shrewd business strategies a la Monopoly? So you're gonna use arms and force and weapons. So you're gonna use guerrilla tactics, like in Vietnam and in World War II. So you're gonna use diplomatic dialogue. You're right. It's diplomatic dialogue. So, ta-da! This seems a lot more like a pep talk. So that's a good one, Tanya. Yeah, I learned each day. I learn new things about you guys. So yeah, oh, man, I wish I was this active back then. I was just like, yeah. Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh. Usually it's between let's see. Actually yeah. Usually using like Asian theater of the World War II. This was said by an African leader. So once again mhm, look at the look at the speaker. Prime Minister of Indonesia. So it's in Asia, Southeast Asia. So close enough. Asian African leader. Actually not no. Okay, Civil War, yes. Basically, usually when like you're in a disadvantage, you're less in numbers, you have fewer weapons. You want to stick to the ambush approach. to use guerrilla tactics. You camouflage yourself. You you ambush them at night. Yeah, all those. You raid their not pantries. You raid their camps at night. Yeah. Oop. Okay, so 16. So if you want to stay, but I'll just leave those questions. Yeah, 1 hour has passed. Like this question, Tanya. So yeah, this question is talking about. Oh, sorry. This of decolonization. Sorry. Yeah. So it's all about So basically, once again, to quote you, you're basically the Mr. Indonesia Prime Minister is just giving a pep talk. He's like, I'm done. I don't want we want peace. We want our own quiet and peace. I don't want to be a colony of some European nations. So it's decolonization. That's like the motivation behind decolonization. Anyways, if you want to, no problem. If you want to stick around, just try to answer like, I don't know, three or like two of these like random trivia questions. So for funsies. And you get brownie points. That is just training your like historical knowledge. So let's see. Can you arrange the Soviet leaders from earliest to latest? Lenin, Stalin, Gorbachev, Khrushchev. Okay, almost there. You've just swapped Khrushchev and yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Mitab's right. Yeah. 4 is Axis. 6 is peacefully. There you go. You just divide and conquer this. Okay, so you got 1 and 4 done. 6 is done. Name one of the two Asian wars, proxy wars during the Cold War. I actually mentioned them like a lot over the stream. Oh no, yeah. I was focusing on the yeah. Oh, I feel bad. Oh man, yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Brezhnev. Yeah, I was just focusing on the yeah. Yeah, no excuses. Yeah. Nanjing. Oh, what are you talking about? It's actually the Vietnam War or the Korean War, so either works. Yes. Franz Ferdinand works. 2 is mania or main is militarism, alliances, nationalism, industrialization, and some say that you can argue like in as a cause. I mean, it is a cause. You can say that the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. Yeah, yeah. Germany side, Axis side. So let's see. I think you guys answered all of them. Actually, no. Number 7 is more of a 6. What's that? Hindus and Muslims. It's more about if you think of Gandhi and his Salt March. It's more about like them arguing. They just want because if you know like Britain is like cotton. It's like colony like it's like Britain used India for like cotton production, like all textile production. So yeah, Chinese Civil War is the CCP and um you can say the nationalist side. So yeah, so CCP is with headed by Mao Zedong, and who will rise to power later. And then the nationalists by someone named Chiang Kai-shek. They eventually lose. They flee to Taiwan. So today you can see arguments. You can still see arguments like Taiwan still is like, we're not a part of China. So yeah, communist and democratic. Yeah, Kuomintang means Chinese National National Party. Yeah. A is society or alliances, and it all them works. CP is yes. Okay, I was like C and P. Okay, so I think you guys wrapped it up nicely. So once again, quick plug. Thank you guys for joining me in this stream. I love the discussion. I love the quotes. I love the active discussion. So I hope I see you guys next time or tomorrow or there's a Italia. Oh man, you watch anime too? Cultured. It was helpful. Um Yes, so you guys should be familiar with like where you're at right now, what to do from this point, stay safe. Oh, you have a test. Is it online? Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll see. So stay safe, guys. Um, don't buy the toilet. Don't like swarm the TP. Please. Everyone needs TP. It's running out again. Yeah. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I guess College Board has like is exploring online alternatives, so I'm a little on the fence on that, but okay, I'm gonna take note of that. Invisible armies. Okay, yeah. I I want to read a book now, and I'm like in my room. So, yeah, same. That's me for a push right now. I'm like supposed to take a test. I'm like, okay. So guerrilla warfare. I'm gonna look back in the chat for like all these good recommendations, but I hope I see you guys tomorrow. So, bye bye. Thank you.